Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for joining us at Keeping It Shrimple. I don't know what to say on this stuff, but I got Brian with me from Motor City Aquatics. I think he put the wrong name there, or am I supposed to change that?
Shit. No,
And he starts off with money in the cuss jar. Woohoo!
yeah. Audio can. Oh, I don't think I can change it now, can I? It don't matter. Just keep going.
Okay. Yeah, I think the only way you'd be able to do it is to get out and then get back in. So we got Too Cooley for Schooly. I love that name. That's cool. And then Texas Fish Room is Jeff, a fellow metalhead like myself, except he's the singer, so he gets hit with beer bottles first. I'm the drummer, so I stay back there in the back, so I don't get worried about the beer bottles. At least that's what my singer used to always say. I'm going to get hit with the beer bottles first. Oh, he's probably watching, so I shouldn't make fun.
No funny jokes while he's watching.
Right? Hey, Jess made it. All right. Hi, Dee Dee. We got people flowing in here slowly. As you can see in my background, I have the official vendor picture for Aquashelloween. And in the middle, you can see right there, I got the Jadron Aquatics logo, but definitely in booth 1106. So,
yeah, so you're not, boy, you're going to be busy. What are you all,
right?
What are you signed up for now? What's everything that you've been asked to do so far during this show? It's going to be hard to get a hold of you. You're going to be busy.
Hey, I don't mind. I'll be, being pulled in all directions. But
that's what I'm saying. Where are the places you're going to be pulled to so people can look A, B, or C?
I'll be at the booth 1106 in the morning. Saturday, I will be on the Aquatic Morning Show with Jess and Shanna and Joe. And that'll be the first thing we do. And then from there, I would imagine I'll mingle with the YouTube crowd until they start letting people in and Jason starts getting overwhelmed. Help him as much as possible. And then whenever they drag me away to go do some judging, then I'll be in the shrimp contest area. So it should be pretty close, at least looking at the map of the venue and where we are. We're kind of close to the fish tube booth, but not. So we're around, and I think that and where the shrimp contest is being held, it should at least be in a workable area. I hope, anyways. I mean, who knows? It could be crazier than I'll be. I don't know, but.
Oh, so you actually have a map on where your booth is going to be?
Yeah.
Do you know what it's going to be by so people know what to look for? Because I think Joe said his is going to be by, tell me if I'm wrong, but didn't he say like the concession stand or something?
Yes, I believe so. I think we're going to be on the far end of the entrance on the last row before the fish tube booth is going to be on the right-hand side, I believe.
So you're going to be close to it.
Yeah.
Okay, because in Chicago, if I wouldn't have weaved in between all the hallways when I was there, I probably never would have even found Joe and Eric because they were on the end of a row,
right?
Kind of like on a corner of a T, a crossroads. But if I wouldn't have gone in and out, if I would have just went over by the YouTube booth where LRB and everybody was, I never would have found them. So that's why I just throwing it out there. If people if they're going to come, they can look and at least know that you guys are going to be close to the booth in that vicinity.
Well, honestly, I think the best thing is to let them get lost and wander around and see everything.
Right.
I mean, they're there to see everything. They're not just there to see us or me. So I'll give them general, like I said, we'll be in the last row before.
Somebody's coming there just to see you, ain't they? I can't remember what that.
A good one. If you see Fluval, you see Fluval, if you see the Fluval booth, we're directly across from it.
Oh, see, there you go. Okay, so now you're by the Fluval, Joe's by the concession, and that's that. You can find a YouTuber booth easily. But yeah, of course, you gotta walk through it all and see it all. But I'm saying, if somebody's got their heart set on, purchasing something, I know they'll walk through. But like I said, if I wasn't obedient and walked in and out, I probably would have walked right past it, not even recognize it. So.
Lumpy Dog says 2 shrimp noobs. I wonder what they'll talk about. We're going to talk about turtles.
Yeah, turtles are good. And when I was at my buddy's store yesterday, this guy brought in these 3 little itty bitty bags, plastic bags, and they had numbers on them. I thought they had like some kind of cool fish in it. He had one, it said 125, one said 90, and one said 55. I said, wow, what's he selling? What's in those little bags, man? He said, oh, nothing you want. I said, how do you know? And he lifted it up, and it was just water. I said, oh, is that the size tank it come out of? He's like, yeah. So we can talk about water.
I hear you. Yeah, Liquid Zoo. I'm definitely been talking to Jason. He's just been a lot of stuff's going on. So doing the best I can, at least to take over the streams for now until he's ready to get back at it. And he's got a lot going on, getting ready for the booth and all the stuff that's going to happen with that. So I'm going to be splitting time between that, the helping him out with the shrimp contest, and of course trying to, meet and greet as many people as possible. But at the same time, we do want to make sure we get people, if they want to buy some stuff, that we're getting it to them and they're not sitting there in a group of 30 people hovered around a table looking at all our fish. It would be great if they did that, but I doubt it's going to be that busy, but you never know.
It sure was busy when I went. I mean, I know you're talking your booth, but I'm sure you guys do pretty darn good. Oh yeah, there you go. See, I don't have all that, I got Bones, coffee, Shark Bite. I'm a coffee guy, and my wife gets me the shirts, and these are those funky, like the funky beers that come out. People are like, what?
If you want one, they're available at www.jatterinsaquatics.com.
That's good to know. That's good to know. What about Papa Shrimp shirts?
Those are available on Teespring.
Oh, nice. Do you have to pop anything up or punch anything up special to look that up on Teespring?
I don't think so. If you can't find it through Papa Shrimp, look for Papa Shrimp swag bag.
Okay. To support. So what did you wanted to talk about today? The how hard it is to.
Yeah, the question or the title of the stream was, is shrimp keeping too hard? And that's kind of what I want to go over with you. Is I think that a lot of what I see through the different breeders and shrimp tubers that are out there that are doing their stuff, sometimes it gets a little confusing. I mean, I remember when I first started and was doing research, the information was far and few between. And then the information you did have it made me okay, well, I'll stick with the Neo caridinas because that caridina stuff seems really hard, and that's kind of what I want to talk about. Is it really that hard? Or my personal experience tells me that it's almost easier doing caridina than doing Neos, and neither one of them are hard. If you strip away all of the terminology, all of the water parameters and this and that, it's not as hard as people make it out to be, I think.
No, I don't. The only thing that, and I wouldn't call it hard, it's just, I think it's the same way with fish too. A fish that takes a softer water instead of, a harder water is just that. The shrimp take a softer water. So it's just going off of who you get your shrimp from, whether it's a breeder, an importer, or whatever. going, taking their water parameters, making your tank the same. But the thing is it's playing scientist on watching how the shrimp react to different water parameters, meaning like if you have it at a 110 and you decide to go to 120, then 130, colors can change. They can get darker, they can act more spunky. Some will get buried faster. So keeping shrimp is easy, but the other stuff that people may seem as hard, I think I look at it as being more on the fun side, because as you say, putting them in a tank that's fully cycled, that's just like fish. And then the rest is just you playing little scientist with your shrimp, little here and that, little there. But it's the same thing that people do with fish. It's like, do they like a softer water? Do they like a harder water? How do they do with plants compared to gravel, sand type stuff like that? I think maybe one of the things is because it's so small and people think they're fragile, like they don't want to break it.
I guess, and that's one of the things. We got Joe in here, so he could always, throw in a couple of comments if he wanted to and let us know what he thinks. I know he's having a cough issue or something.
Oh yeah, I've had
sinuses or whatever, so he doesn't really want to talk.
It's just out of me now. So yeah, if he's got it, the drains are terrible.
Yeah, we got this front that blew in here, and I think it's hitting me pretty good as far as my allergies have been all whacked. I couldn't breathe this morning. I was like, man.
Yeah, we're in the 40s here now, so I mean the heat's on. All that stuff just to keep the tanks warm. We got it at 71 upstairs. So, yeah, the allergies are crazy. But yeah, that's, I don't, there's times too, that people make the hobby harder for themselves, I guess, because they work harder at it than what actually they need to. So, and sometimes I think that could be caused by, and I know it's caused when it happens to me, or when it did happen to me, it's caused by lack of information, and I just don't have the answer. So I might get stressed out or, question my decision or something because I don't have the answer and I don't have anyone to contact. And so I could see maybe that would scare people and make it a little harder. But yeah, other than that, I think more or less over time, it just when shrimp first got into the hobby, maybe the lines and strains weren't as strong. The genes weren't as strong as they are now since, people have been working on them so hard. But it's kind of like discus. Discus were almost impossible to keep in tap water. Now all my discus breed in tap water. So it's like, there's things really change, and it's pretty simple now. So
yeah, and that's again my motto or tagline is keeping it shrimple. And it really is, when you take away all of the specifics as far as keep these shrimp at 6.35 pH with a TDS of 117.99935 with the temperature at 62.74, or all this stuff. I think it's just like, really, you got to have clean water. You got to have a cycled tank with an active substrate. It's not going to keep your pH exactly where you want it, but it's going to help keep it lower because our water out of tap is normally around neutral. So you want it a little bit lower than that. Make sure the water stays clean. Feed them very little, especially at first. And you'll be able to tell when they're hungry and you need to feed them more. And it's really just clean water and algae. You got to have algae. I think that's one of the big things that fish people look at shrimpers tanks and go, oh, that's disgusting.
we only clean the front glass.
Right? Just the front glass so you can see. The rest, I love my green walls all over everything. That's just, and I love seeing all the babies just sitting eating away on all the algae.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had several tanks, like the tank that where my blue steels are in. When I first got it in and I put the shrimp in there, I could see some algae growth, and I needed to clean the glass off a little bit here and there. But I kind of let it alone, and the shrimp, once they started multiplying, and I got 100 of them or so, then it was like they went around and cleaned up that tank and cleaned everything off. And now when I video it, as you see it in the videos, the one that I just posted, I mean, there's dead snail shells or whatever, little pieces of moss floating around, but there's very little algae on driftwood or anything for them to make it seem like it's dirty.
Yeah, and see, that's bringing that up. That's how you were saying shrimp are hungry. You'll see signs and stuff, but when you're
see you in a bit, Joe.
When your shrimp community starts to get so large like that, and they start to decimate every bit of algae in that tank, that's when you're gonna want to start putting things in there like different woods and stuff that'll grow different types of beneficial bacteria on it to help feed those shrimp. And because you don't have to buy products. I mean, it does help because it helps with the biofilm. It helps allow biofilms and stuff to build up over time, so the shrimp don't eat everything, but you can use bacteria, you can use other powders that are beneficial bacteria growers. There's a lot of stuff to use, but when those shrimp really start to develop and multiply like that, that's when you gotta, instead of going, well, I could get away with every couple days, then every other day to every day. Because look, I've had tanks, they predate on themselves, especially tigers. They're pretty aggressive shrimp, and you want to feed them. It's kind of like fish. You don't feed fish, they start bumping heads. And they're like, all right, get away from this little area in the corner. There might be detritus that I can eat, and it's the same thing. So,
like I have in my tank up there, I was looking at it today, and I hadn't fed my shrimp since Monday. And when I was looking at it, all of the shrimp were on the filter, pretty much. And I was like, yep, they're very hungry because Daddy didn't feed them yesterday. Shame. And I did. I put the food in there, and it was just like they're fighting all over it and just having a blast, eating away. They're like, buffet, yay!
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's like going to the buffet. Yeah.
Yeah. So that kind of gave me an idea, and I had been paying attention to stuff like that before, because when the shrimp are out grazing, they're just being normal shrimp. But when they're stuck to the filters or something like that, or they're all piled on in a certain area, well, they're all hungry, and that's the only place left in the tank where they got their biofilm or bacteria or whatever it is that they can find to eat. I mean, they've probably even already eaten their own poop.
Yeah, but what you're explaining is you're stretching it out far enough to where there's like no food left in the tank, which is good because, like you say, they come out and graze. They do that all day. But then when you see that minute where they're kind of on the filter sponges and stuff, and they're eating the last little bit, you're like, okay, now it's time to feed. So You're not just piling it up; it's rotting, going into rocks. Pile it up, rotting. So, I'm guilty for that because I'm a oh, look at them, they're so cute. It's hard not to. Hey, I don't ever say that I don't do what you're not supposed to. It's to this day, it doesn't matter. It's hard. It just is. I'll go, well, let me feed the orange-eyed blue tigers right here because there's about 400 of them in there. And then, well, heck, I got the food in my hand. I'll feed this tank and then that tank. Next thing you know, I'm feeding them all. So it's a never-ending story. It's too hard.
Right. You're not supposed to say it's too hard.
No, okay. I mean, it's difficult to say no to my shrimp. It makes me feel sad inside if I deny them a meal.
I got you. Oh, and the big thing is it depends on the number of shrimp you have in your tank.
Oh, for sure.
Because like I said, I noticed that I feed them a small amount of a little stick. I break it off, I throw it in there, and then 2 hours later, it's gone, completely gone. And yes, I know some of them grabbed a piece and they swam off with it because I see them doing it all the time. They're greedy little bastards.
Right.
They grab it and take it away if they can. And so I see that, but in general, the food is gone. And that's I don't know, it's more satisfying to know that my food is gone than come back a couple of hours later and there's still a piece there and it doesn't look like anything's eating it, not even the snails. And it's like, I got to get that out.
Right. Well, see, it's telltale signs that these were things that I had to learn over time that without watching people on YouTube, I don't know when I would have learned this stuff. I don't know how fast I would have learned it, but to put food in a tank and, like you say, come back a couple hours later, it's still there. Some people might just walk by and go, oh, well, they're not hungry, but then us have been doing it, for years, you look and go, uh-oh, something's wrong. 2 hours, the food's there. It's not touched. Something's wrong. Get the food out. And let's start to look at maybe there's a ton of food in there, a bunch of algae. They're not hungry. You don't know. If there's no deaths and there's no dead snails, take the food out and leave it alone. If you want to change maybe 1 gallon, go ahead, but it probably doesn't need it. It's just if the shrimp don't eat and you don't take the food out, the food follows the tank. That's when you can lose a shrimp and you're like, oh my gosh, what happened? But I never noticed that stuff when I first started that. Oh, they're not eating it. Another thing was get those little glass trays and put it in there. It's so cute to see them go in and eat. And it's like, wait a minute. No one's going in there. But guess what? It's in the glass tray. It won't rot and go down into the substrate. Oh, it's good. And I'd leave it in there for a whole day instead of taking it out, and now it's right. Like, if it's not eaten, yeah, I take it out, because those, it's one of the big telltale signs. There's more.
Okay. So what's the logic behind that so that other people understand is why is it you're taking out the food? Is it because, as some people have said, that it causes bacterial issues? Is it because it could cause an ammonia spike and the shrimp they can't tolerate high ammonia spikes or drastic changes like that with the ammonia? Or is it just because shrimp don't need to be fed?
Well,
because I've heard all three of those things.
Right. No, there's some truth to part 3. 2 is probably my main reason is because it's kind of like think about this. Throw a hamburger in your trash can and let it sit there, and after a while it'll start to stink. It'll go off. If you have food in the kitchen that you've opened up and then you close, that's all it needs to do is be opened once and let that air in. And if it's not eaten, it'll start to mold, just like in the refrigerator, and to me, shrimp can't withstand much ammonia at all, let alone a large amount of ammonia. I've lost a shrimp, tested the ammonia, and it just was off, using my API tester, and I take it down, or I do a water change, and it was fine, but it seemed to be the a dead snail is as bad as a piece of food. And just think about it, in a 10-gallon tank, one ram's horn the size of I don't even know, smaller than a dime, if it dies, it can start to wipe out your tank. Right. So can food, especially if you're overfeeding. Let's say you put it, one of those Pleco wafers in or something. You don't have many shrimps to eat them. You drop that in there. That can set it off too. So the ammonia thing's the big thing for me. And then part 3, shrimp don't need fed at all. That's not 100% true. Shrimp need fed. because they're in a small cube of water. If they were out in the wild, there's food and detritus and everything building up all the time. You have the sun that's more powerful than a light. There's so many more things die and rot and all that, and there's really no ammonia because it's being washed away. So out there, they probably will never need fed, but being in a tank, we have to supplement what they're not getting in the wild. So
so that's that right there, what you just said about supplementing them. That's really what we're doing when we feed our shrimp, right? We're just supplementing their diet. And kind of what I hear through all of this is that because the common practice for shrimp breeders is to put shrimp substrate, maybe a piece of driftwood and a little clump of moss. That's it. So there's nothing else in the tank besides the bacteria that you have to cultivate through cycling. There's nothing else in that tank that will help you if you do have an ammonia spike, such as in a planted tank with 100 fish in it. You probably don't have to worry about ammonia spikes because the plants are there to help turn all of that ammonia over and go through the process. And with all the bacteria is beneficial and anaerobic bacteria, all that stuff, you get into the science of all of it. You don't have that issue. So is that a fallacy of the way we keep shrimp when we're breeding them versus people who keep shrimp just to keep shrimp for fun? Like, would they have those same problems in a planted tank with maybe 10 fish and it's all got all the hiding areas and the shrimp survive? Would they have a problem if you put too big of a shrimp food pellet in there and it didn't get eaten?
No. I mean, I've had tanks where you put food in there. For one, it depends on the size of the tank. If it's overstocked, we all know that. Well, everyone should know that an overstocked tank is asking for problems if you don't do water changes. So if you have shrimp in there in an overstock or just a regular tank, if it's fed and the food's not eaten, it's probably a good chance the fish are going to eat it. It can rot, go down in the substrate. The plants will take up all the fuel from it. So, in my opinion, it's way less of a threat to a shrimp if they're in a planted tank, because more or less, that's a kind of a world inside of a glass box. It creates everything it needs. Everything grows. Everything's broken down. The poops broke down. Everything's eaten up by the plants. It creates oxygen. It does all this good stuff compared to, like you said, just a tank that's empty with a piece of, let's say, cholla wood and a piece of moss. Yeah, not so much. That's now you're out in the middle of, you're out in the middle of a field and you might not see a bird, but you can still get pooped on, because there's nothing there to block it. There's no tree. So,
well, it's kind of funny because I have in one of my tanks that I call my caridina tank. It was in one of my videos that I did my caridina tank setup. That one is fully planted. It's nice and full. To me, it's a perfect shrimp haven, but not perfect if I'm trying to breed. Right. And the reason being is because then I can't see the shrimp when they die, or I can't catch the babies or the shrimp when I need to, so I can call them and separate them. So that's why I do that on purpose and keep one tank that I know this is for me to play with. This is for me to fill it with plants, throw some shrimp, some fish, whatever I want to, and make it my tank, that I don't have to make it a production tank that is, in the system for producing more or any of that. So in that tank, it's kind of strange because I haven't found the right balance yet for the shrimp. And I know that sounds strange, but because the tank is pretty much taking care of itself, I don't think it's allowing algae growth and I don't think there's enough algae growth in it for the shrimp to be happy. And so they're not doing well. They're not breeding. They're not surviving. So I've moved shrimp in and moved shrimp out. Once I start seeing that they're not doing so good and they're hiding, for me, when the shrimp are just hiding, they're not happy. Mm-hmm. Do you see things the same way, or is...
Yeah. I was just I have that. I have some sort, something like that too, because some tanks are so clean. It kind of seems like somebody came through and scrubbed it before you showed up, and you're like, wait a minute, was this just set up today?
Right.
And it's literally, and you're like, wait a minute, but when a tank is packed from front to back with some washer tank and boost and Marissimo ball and wood and all this stuff, and it's so balanced to where everything's perfect, well, then you really don't have algae. So I put in, when I see that, I'll put Bacter AE in. I'll put my Mooch beneficial, the ecological stuff in, and I also will put in my Fritzheim 7 because that's a live bacteria. So I'll shoot, maybe 2 milliliters or something in all these tanks that are struggling and not having the amount of algae that are in them, even though they are softer water, I still put it in there. Whatever I can to make up for that imbalance of algae, because people would die to have these super clean tanks. Well, we want to add a little bit of yuckness to them, but I mean, I have showstopper tanks that are so clean, I always have to add stuff to them.
Okay, and that makes sense, because I'd pretty much leave the tank alone because it is so pretty and the plants are doing so well. And I even have noticed that if I have plants that are dying in one of my other tanks, if I put it in that tank, it'll start growing. It'll get back to life. And so that's kind of cool. I don't know what's going on with that tank, but it's kind of baffling me that my shrimp aren't doing so well. You would think that they'd be just loving it in there, but I'm starting to kind of believe that it may be too clean.
Yeah, well, yeah. I've practiced with that, like when the shrimp have babies and they don't, and I don't see any. I'm like, okay, where's all the babies? And I'm looking around, and or you only see 2 or 3 2 months later that are actually, and you're like, wow, well, okay, are they? There's not enough food or what? And then I start to put the Bacter AE in, and I put small amounts in, but I put it in about every 4 days. I don't really go every day, but I'm like, if I put it a little more than what I think the shrimp could eat, then that food's just going to go get caught up in the substrate, in some plants or whatever, and then it's going to start to change and fall out and turn into into beneficial biofilms and stuff like that. So
I was trying to find my Bacter AE because the measuring spoon that I have in it is not the one that comes with it. I actually have a little bitty. Yes, that's exactly what I have. The little bitty tiny spoon, and I don't even put but maybe a fourth of it in there when I do the Bacter AE, and that's way less than when it says it recommends to feed.
No, I used to put a whole scoop in a 20 long with cherry shrimp. I'd put a whole scoop in there, and there'd probably be, I don't know, 150, 200 shrimp in there. I never had an issue with it, but it was packed, and see, the thing is, everyone knows when you see my filters don't just trickle out. These things are for up to 55-gallon tanks. I got an air pump on each wall. So, I mean, I'm pushing a lot of pressure so they blow out, because I like to know that the water's moving and the filters are actually doing a job instead of it just just peeing out into the water. I mean, to me, that's not doing anything, and you're doing more water changes than anything. I want the filter to do a job. So I want to have a lot of pressure come through, so it's actually doing the work, so I don't have to do as many water changes. But you put that bacteria in there, boy, they'll be up on the top of the water, attached to it, anything it's touching, So it's, I've been, I don't know, 4 years, and I've probably only gone through maybe 3 containers in 4 years because you use so little of it, So,
well, okay, so we cover like the water, the algae, and feeding them, and going through that type of stuff. When it comes down to the problems that you acquire in an aquarium, in a shrimp tank versus a fish tank. So a lot of questions that I see and that I used to have myself is, what are these little white dot speck things swimming around in my tank? Is that a baby shrimp?
Oh, seed shrimp?
Yeah.
They're just something that it's
Why do we see them and fish people don't?
well, because shrimp can't eat them. They don't eat them. The reason you see really nothing that grows in a fish tank is because the fish eat it, because it's such a great source of food. That's why, Now, here's the thing. It's really weird. When I see seed shrimp in a tank, that's kind of, and this is something that I learned over time, not something that I was taught, but it's something that I pay attention, just like you pay attention to your fish tanks. But the minute I see seed shrimp, I know that my tank is fully cycled, ready to go, and there's going to be babies at any minute.
Right. That's something I wanted to make sure that I kind of drew out of you, is because at first you're like, oh no, what is this thing? And how can I kill it? How can I get rid of them?
Well, no, seed shrimp, they're nothing to fret about. They just eat microscopic foods. They eat stuff off plants, stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff in the tank that don't hurt the shrimp, that actually live down in the substrate, that do nothing to it, that don't do anything to the shrimp at all. But seed shrimp are kind of cute. I mean, if you look at them like, with a macro lens, or if you blow it up on your phone, they just look like little.
They're kind of what?
Little shrimpy things, They look like
kind of what?
Shrimps. The little.
They're kind of what?
What?
Cute? Did you say shrimpy cute?
Things? Oh, cute? Yeah. Little cute shrimpy things. Yeah. Well, it's cool because you look at it. I mean, I have them over here. You look at them; they're so small. But then when you blow it up, you're like, oh, wow, look at that. It's so neat looking. But, yeah, to me, it's a telltale sign that a tank is ready. Now, there's a lot of people that have been in the hobby, fish and shrimp, and they'll swear by it. They swear the second they see seed shrimp, it's that time to go. Let's go. It's going to be happening any minute. It's kind of like, when you're ready to have a baby. You start to get all those pains, and you're like, oh, let's go to the hospital. So it's when you don't see seed shrimp, in my opinion, that, you still got to wait. I mean, you can have shrimp in there, but I've had shrimp in a tank for so long before it was cycled. The tank was cycled, but it wasn't mature. And for what you would think would be fine for a shrimp will say no until it's ready. They do not care. They don't care what you think is right. They only care what they think is right. Now, it won't kill them. But if you want, it's kind of like me with the discus over there. I bought them a couple weeks ago. They've already laid eggs twice. If you just bring shrimp home and put them in a tank, that's not going to be that fast. I mean, a Neo maybe, but a caridina, probably not that fast. For one, it takes them longer to get used to the tank. If it's not, a tank that's been set up for a long time, they're not going to die in it. I mean, I set tanks up in 4 days with live bacteria, special live bacteria that we sell from Taiwan. But we leave a light on for 4 days, 24/7. We sell it here. You can put it in the tank, and it especially works good with substrates that promote ammonia. But I do it 4 days, put the lights on 4 days, and then put shrimp right in. and it's good to go. But they go breed, they're just gonna exist and eat. And as that tank starts to grow and get older and older, those shrimp will do the same thing. And once it's up and running, then they're up and running. So, but yeah, sea shrimper, the winner.
Okay, and so what are some of the other things that we encounter as shrimpers that maybe some hobbyists, their first time, they go, what the heck is that thing? Looks like hair algae all over my glass.
That is...
Man, I'm quizzing you because we talked about it last night.
I know. Hey, I was in an accident and I can't remember. Jack, what's the hold on? It's
look at the screen. It's a little wavy thing with fingers on it.
Yeah. I know what it is.
Pink shield.
Yeah.
Hail Hydra.
Hydra. I'm sorry. Hey, for some reason, I wanted to talk about that terrible worm with the diamond head, but Hydra.
Oh yeah, that one too. Planaria.
I had Hydra one time. That's it. Don't know what I did to create it, but one day I was looking, going, "Wow, that looks cool. Wow, what is that? That looks cool? Is that algae or something? Wow, is that cool?" And then I seen these tentacles, and they're like reaching. I'm like, "What is that?"
Hail Hydra!
Yeah. Hail Hydra! What's up, Joe?
Nothing. I just got to my condo.
Nice.
I forgot Coral's gifts, but I'm not driving 1.5 hours to go get them. I'll mail them. I'll just buy something when I'm down there.
It's probably a little easier.
I was asked, hey, by the way, she sent me the picture and she goes, did you forget something? And I'm driving. I'm like, fudge. She goes, are you going to come back up here? And I said, I'm not driving 1.5 hours to drive 1.5 hours back.
Right.
For this gift. I mean, this is what I get. She wrapped the gifts for me because I don't wrap gifts. So, well, I'll just buy something and I'll mail the other ones.
Hey, I would love
what
to
do you think?
Your house for Christmas because I would know exactly what I'm getting.
So we're talking about all the different things, that shrimpers deal with, go through, and I'm kind of just trying to debunk some of the myths that it's that difficult for somebody to keep some shrimp.
Shrimp are super simple. Like when I say it's simple, it's simple. It's shrimp are overcomplicated where everybody says, oh, they're tough to breed, they're tough. What's tough about it? The only tough thing about it is having the right water parameter. That's it.
Right.
But that's not that difficult.
But it's no different than fish. You got to have right parameters for fish too.
Right.
Correct.
And I think some of it too, though, is just that because of we say it's that simple, but for somebody that buys an aquarium starting off, it's not that simple, I don't think, because they're already having problems just buying goldfish and guppies from Petco, setting them up in an aquarium. So I just worry that somebody that's starting a shrimp tank, hopefully they're starting a shrimp tank because they want to add to their collection of already other cycle tanks, having fish and plants and stuff that they can steal from to help them get that tank cycled before they put shrimp in it. For us, we got cycled sponges, we got substrate, we got water we could borrow, we got mosses that we could transfer. Whatever we do to make that cycling time a little bit shorter than somebody having to buy a glass box, put water in it, and wait a month to 6 weeks before they can put anything in it.
And that's where it's tough because the bigger box stores tell people, buy a tank, put water in there, and stop back and you get some fish. They don't educate them about a nitrate cycle, which I think they should educate for a nitrate cycle. Like I've done videos and I've tagged the box stores saying, please educate people about the nitrate cycle.
Somebody wrote, Jamie Anderson wrote, you don't think multiple tank syndrome is not the hardest part to avoid in shrimp keeping? What do you mean multiple tanks? There's a syndrome?
Mm-hmm.
I know nothing of that.
I thought that was just like putting a $100 bill next to the other one in your wallet. All you're doing is lining them up really nice.
I thought you were supposed to have 30 plus aquariums.
That's what I thought.
If you're gonna have one, you might as well have 40.
Right, exactly.
What's the difference, really?
I mean, if you got to do a water change, let's just make a day of it.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Hey, and the more tanks that you have, the less ceiling lights you'll have to turn on.
Exactly.
The tanks will light up the room. So look, there you go. 2 birds with 1 stone.
No, I just think
it is a helping pet too.
Yes. I know with the shrimp contest coming up, and hopefully a lot of new people that are entering the contest are bringing their shrimp in, different than the regulars that have always been in it. I'm hoping that that'll help spark some interest. Maybe we can get some kids involved that, maybe some kid will come along at a young age and become a master breeder before he's 15. And we're going, man, I'm jealous.
I know for a fact that there's an 11-year-old that entered the contest with 5 entries in there.
Wow.
And he's actually flying out there. His dad already told me their flight lands at 6:30 Friday night, and he's staying the weekend at the hotel there. So
awesome.
I went over because his dad has some other things to do, and I'm like, dude, drop him off at my booth. Because he knows me. I'm like, dude, drop him off at my booth. He can hang out with me. So he'll be there.
Awesome.
Nice.
I'm excited, man. I mean, it's gonna be a crazy weekend, I know. And I'll be blowing and going from tomorrow morning when I go pick you up to probably Monday afternoon.
Oh yeah. According to I talked to Manny and stuff. He said the DFW distributor where we have to go, I guess it's only 10 minutes from the airport.
Oh, so not on Arlington?
No, that's where the main office is. Where we have to go is only 10 minutes, they said.
Oh, okay.
So you want to talk about being crunched for time there. Okay, I had to pack up everything at my store and keep the store open. I had to receive snails and everything else that's coming in. Then I find out that I have to do a special show down in Dallas, and they sent me all the stuff. I had to go print it off. And then I had to get a hold of Papa Shrimp, and I'm like, hey, I know you're picking me up, but we got to get Eric Lucas from pipetshrimp.com. I got stuff at Cargo. I have to pick up stuff at Cargo. And, oh, by the way, let's go to this distribution warehouse. I got to pick up stuff there, too. And by the way, can we go to Target, too? Because I need to get food for my freaking room.
I know. I was like, give me the itinerary, Joe.
It's funny because Manny goes over and says, are you still going to the grocery store to pick up stuff? I'm like, I always do. And we never eat it. So we buy like $200 worth of groceries, and we probably eat, I don't know, maybe like $10, $15 worth, and we just leave the rest. So what's nice about all these plants, I got tons of plants coming in. Whatever I don't take home, Papa Shrimp gets a lot of freaking plants.
Woo! I love plants.
So plants are cool.
Plants are your friends, especially in an aquarium.
You're only cool if you have plants.
Yeah. I mean, I literally got probably $6,000 of the plants coming in for the booth.
Jeez. That's crazy. Well, I'm sure people are going to buy because, I mean, from what I've seen, people love their plants at all the shows, whether it's auctions, whether it's, swaps, whether it's stuff like this. I think this is going to be
like a hit or miss show. And why I say that is it's going to be great for all of us to be there. The only problem that I see is normally we're all booked out for the hotels, and now they've extended the check-in times twice now. So they haven't sold all the rooms yet. So is it not that many people want to go around Halloween or what. That's the only thing that scares me.
There's two things, I think. One is Halloween.
Yep.
Another one is that we just had Aquashella 2 months ago, And then number 3 is that I guarantee you a lot of people are driving in, and a lot of people aren't even considering paying $165 a night at the Anatole across the highway from the market hall. If they're going to go through that, they might as well be 5 minutes down the road at $100 a night room.
Yeah.
It's Mini Brian.
Yeah, the little loop.
I haven't been on here in a while, so I'm serious.
He said, "Can I come down tonight, Dada?" I said, "Yep. When you get out of the shower, you come say hello to everybody."
Awesome.
So where is Papa Shrimp? Where is your booth exactly? I'm across from the concession stands. Where are you located at?
We're in the middle of a row facing Fluval. Fluval's got a corner spot, and we're right across from them.
I don't like being directly across from the concession stand, like 5 feet away.
No, that's going to be a pain in the butt.
I'm a foodie.
Yeah.
I'm going to be over there eating nonstop.
Yep.
In Chicago, Joe was losing weight because he had to walk from his booth all the way to the concession stand.
Mm-hmm.
So you never.
So my girlfriend, she's got a little 4-year-old, and she got me with like a little head cold. And man, I'm telling you, man, I'm so congested in the head. Everybody's gonna think, oh, it's cold. It's not COVID. It's a head cold. I live in Minnesota. Okay, it's cold here. It's like 40 degrees. So, and then I'm gonna go someplace where it's 85 degrees.
Well, you're gonna have to watch out for the mask mandates here in Texas. Just kidding.
I gotta have a mask. Oh yeah.
I
Joe,
don't even know if they do that. Are they still doing that on the airplanes? You still have to wear a mask on the airplanes?
Yep.
If you're bringing all the plants to the show, so many plants to the show, is there anything special that you're gonna have that like people can't just get at a LFS or something? Do you got
Good
you know what I
Speaking
mean?
of that, Speaking that you just reminded me of that, I could have packed some rare crepitamines, but I forgot to. I've been like so frantic like today with like people like dropping off stuff that I needed to do for a show, and the DFW thing just totally, caught me by surprise. What I'm bringing is I'm going to bring 3 different types of shrimp, PFRs, Blue Dreams, Green Jades, probably about 700 shrimp total. Bringing lots of plants, a lot of like Java ferns, crypts, Anubiases, mosses, Shrimp King food. I'm bringing the line of Shrimp King foods. We're going to give away a Shrimp King tank at our booth. I'm bringing olive leaves, Troya wood. I got some all-in-one fertilizers that Tyler makes. And then Eric Lucas is bringing the caridina and the boost.
The boost? Yeah.
Ooh.
When I was in Chicago, I meet Joe for the first time. He's like, "Dude, sorry, we just gave away a JBJ tank." I'm like, "Oh man, I just missed it. I missed everything. I had to drive 5 hours.
We got to go pick up at DFW. We have to go pick it up. So,
yeah, Shrimp King's nice, but I mean, just it's not, in my opinion. I mean, a JBJ tank's, Shrimp King's just a rimless, but a JBJ that's like a
Cadillac.
So JBJ's been out there for a long time. They're known for making, manufacturing tanks. They're a distributor of Shrimp King Denley products because they're the only authorized dealer for them. Which hopefully coming up, we'll have some exciting news from that. But it's all variant. It's all about the head honchos and stuff. But yeah, JBJ makes a lot of great products out there. I'm glad that I work for them. I'm glad that they sponsor me. I'm not really happy at the short notice type thing, but
hey, but just think, if there was no short notice, you'd be like, "Man, what's going on?" How come I'm not getting
no,
the
oh God, I would have had so much room in my freaking in my bag. Like, no lie, I got like 2 big check-on bags. One's for the booth, one's for DFW, and then I have my backpack has half the stuff for DFW, like the flyers and stuff.
Right.
And then I was gonna bring a little carry-on, but then they send me a table banner, whatever, that's 38 inches, so I can't put it in a bag, so that's my carry-on too. And it's just like, yeah, I got a lot of crap.
Well, it'll definitely be fun. It's a good thing I'm taking a truck out there, huh?
Yeah. Eric,
I gotta find a way to win me a BBJ tank, man. I gotta really grease some wheels over at Joe's Shrimp Shack or something to get one like.
Well, we are on Rico's stand on that Santa Claus. We did donate a 10-gallon all-in-one.
Oh, I know you did. Yeah.
I want the Priscilla deal and get me a bunch of 16-gallon JBJ rimless cubes for my shrimp room.
Yeah, come on, Oprah. What's going on?
You get a tank.
He's gonna hang up.
You get a tank. We all get a tank.
You're gonna reach under your seat. You got a tank.
But wait, there's more.
There's more.
Yeah, you get free
You get soil too on top of it. I should tell Manny that I'm gonna go up to Manny and say, "Can I be Oprah Winfrey down there and just give everything away?"
Yeah, look under your seat.
Yeah. Hey,
like Manny doesn't care. Manny's like, it's advertisement. What Joe does, it's advertisement. But then the owners of the company think something completely different.
You're throwing our profits out the window.
They're like, what did it for us?
Those whole packages that he gives away that somebody gets to win. You know, they're not. I mean, none of the tanks these days are cheap, but those whole packages, they're pretty pricey. You know.
Yeah, and what's the new? And the thing is with container prices being $22,000 right now, the prices are only going up. Like
I
right
thought
now,
they were 30.
22,000 was our last container. We have another container coming from Germany that has the Denali tanks on there. Once that reaches, the price for Shrimp King and stuff is going to go up. We already know that. We just don't know how much it's going to end up being. But just the prices of everything going up right now, it's killing everybody. And, you know, I had a big discussion with Manny and a few other stores that, 2020 was a fluke numbers game, but you can't put the 2020 numbers into the wholesale list because it was fluke. And now with everything going up in price, it's groceries, that's clothes, that's everything. You have to look at it like, okay, what am I going to pay for? Am I going to pay for groceries or am I going to buy an aquarium?
Yeah,
so more people, I think, it's one of those.
Where'd you go?
There's no sound.
No sound in the thumb.
There you go.
There we go. No, I had that scam likely. I want to talk to you about your insurance, Joe. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, Jess, you have a truck, but you're not going to be here tomorrow. You're not going to be here until Friday afternoonish or noonish.
No, she don't care. She's just saying whatever you don't want, she'll load her truck up. Hey, Jess was born at night, but she wasn't born last night.
Sorry, Jess, I'm first in line. I hope. Ladies first. What the hey?
Yeah. What the heck?
I don't want to bring anything back because that means I have to unload the stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Texas Fish Room says aquariums are better than groceries. To us, yes.
Hey, I was telling my wife today, I was just watching a thing last night, on the Google, you go on there, it shows you all the new news and stuff. And they said that this winter, they're saying the electric bill, when you run your furnace, it could go up 50% to 100%. Your bill's going to go up because so much money that's going out. I told my wife, she's like, well, I guess we're going to be wearing a lot of extra clothes, aren't we? And I was like, okay. I said, I'll just go start a fire pit down here in the shrimp room. And she said, okay, I'll just pipe it out the side. Stay nice and warm. But like Joe's saying, with prices going up, I think what we're going to have to do is just, as while we get through this, look, we all made it through COVID. So while we get through this crappy time right now, it shouldn't last long. We just keep the positive word going and teaching people and learning more every day, and just keep everyone's positiveness, toward the hobby instead of, when things get bad, people are like, you know what, I don't even care. I'm done.
And keep everybody safe.
Yeah, keep everybody safe.
I mean, I'm gonna say right now, support your local fish store.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is all these multi-million-dollar businesses. Look at Bulk Reef. Bulk Reef had an investor go in there. They bought out Neptune Systems. I mean, there's a lot more stuff they're buying out that I know, to a point where they don't care about the small mom pa stores. They care about getting $200 million in sales by the end of the year. That's what they want. Mom pa stores are more worried about, am I going to be around for next year?
Right.
And
so
I
tell people, the heck with Amazon. I mean, I understand you can get stuff. It's convenient for Amazon. It's all this stuff. If you like your local fish store, just go down there and just buy it from them or see if they can order it for you.
Yeah, because I agree with that. But I think not only are they concerned if they're going to be here next year, but they're really concerned about how happy you are, as someone, especially if you've been in the aquatics for a while and they see you come in a lot, they see that passion, and I think they can really touch, they touch home with that, and they understand that, and they look and go, like you're saying, man, am I going to be here next year to see these people that come in, because we're like family to them, and so that's why, like, even the hardware store, I go to the hardware store and they're overpriced on Ace. And I tell them all the time when I go in there, I said, look, I'll come here, but if you don't have it, I got to go to Ace. I don't have any other place, but I'll pay the higher prices just so he can keep his doors open. But I'm at my
store 7 days a week. So it's just like, I'm not a millionaire. I don't have a Rolex on my arm,
Right.
I'm at my store 7 days a week. It is what it is.
My only issue is that most of the big box stores don't do a really good job supporting the shrimp side of the hobby, and your local fish stores are probably your closest, some of them, and they're far and few between as far as what they have for shrimp. Now they may have some Amano shrimp, they may have some blue neos or something, but that's about it in most of the stores around here. And there's a store in particular that I was really upset with them because they put all of their shrimp in tanks at the very bottom of the rack, so they were all on the floor, and if you wanted to check out the shrimp, which are small as they are, you had to get down on your hands and knees to look at shrimp and pick out what you wanted. And that's kind of like, really, you're just throwing them down there on the bottom because you don't really care. But
I think that's,
huh? No.
Was it Smetco?
No, it was a local fish store that's not a big box store. But some of those things like that, it's hard to find good shrimp displays or products at the local fish store. So that's where it becomes hard to support the local fish store, and you have to go the online route or Amazon or whatever, wherever people go.
See, and that's what I like about my buddy's store, that he built that whole end cap.
Yeah.
On the end of the hall. I mean, he put rows, how you got the metal shelving in the hall. He put one on the end and he loaded it with the Aqueon 5-gallon, like the fluvels, but they're the Aqueons, and he's just got rows of them there for all my shrimp. So, I just take them in there, and I only deal with one store with my shrimp. I don't go store to store and try to sell, so everyone's got them. It's just I stay loyal to him, so that way people tell him all the time they drive an hour and a half, 2 hours, just come to a store so they can buy the shrimp,
Well, we're running over our time here. It looks like people are starting to fade away and go hit up Dan and Jason, or whoever else they're going to see. But I think this talk has been productive, and I can't wait till tomorrow. Joe, you got to get up early, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, Joe. I appreciate you coming up, man.
See you tomorrow, guys.
Joe.
All right. Thanks, Brian. Have a good one.
Thanks. All right,
Thank you,
Joe. All
everybody.
right, Jerry. See you guys.
Thanks for keeping it at Shrimple with us. We'll see you next time.
See ya.